You are enjoying reading along with us as we take literary sips. That's the name of our book club with author Julie Edelman. And this month, Julie you picked out a phenomenal book and very appropriate for this season, The Irish Goodbye. Great selection.
Well, I loved it because I love any book that's about dysfunctional families, but also that it gets resolved. And it's just so heartwarming. You're right. It takes place at Thanksgiving, which is hard to believe, just a few weeks away.
Exactly. Any key takeaways you can share with us before we are going to get to meet the author?
Well, that's the most exciting part. For me, the key takeaway was really, we all sort of have our come-froms, but at the end of the day, it's about resolving and the ties, how strong they are with families and also sisters, both real and those new in our sisterhood.
Yes, so, exactly. Well, let's go ahead and bring in the author. We are so excited to be talking with Heather Aimee O'Neill today. And thank you so much for joining us, of course, author of The Irish Goodbye. How you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So much to dive into with your debut novel, but I love your personal story. So Heather, do you mind sharing with us, congrats on being on the other side of things, because you were an editor and writing coach. What made you finally want to write your own novel?
I had tried in the past to write a novel. My writing background was really in poetry, but I worked with so many incredible authors on their novels and their memoirs. And about 5 years ago, I finally decided I want to do this again. And I wanted to write about grief, and I wanted to write about sisterhood. And this story just kind of emerged from that. And I learned so much in being an editor and having the opportunity to work with so many incredible writers.
Yeah, and as an author, I call my work, my fiction work, a book of faction. How much of your book is faction, as in fact?
I love that. Yeah, so I am one of 3 sisters, and I did grow up on the water in Long Island. But beyond that, it really is a work of fiction. I mean, I think, as you probably know, we take parts of our lives and the insights that we have and the things that we have experienced, and we're always incorporating that into our work. It's kind of part of our writing DNA, it's where we get our stories. So, and I come from a very big, loving family. So I had a lot to pull from and to work with.
It's interesting because as I'm reading your book, I didn't know this about you. I wasn't quite sure, but I assumed that you had sisters because the back and forth, the conversation, the subtext, the undercurrents, it was so real. It was just like how sisters would speak to one another. With those 3 sisters in your book, The Irish Goodbye, who do you root for the most? Do you have, it's hard to pick a favorite like it would be in your own family.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I just kind of love them all. I have 2 children, and it's almost like asking me, they're so different. And each of the sisters is really struggling with something that I think is very familiar. Even if you haven't gone through the specific things that they are trying to work through, I think we've all been in situations where we've made mistakes. We've all been in situations where we're trying to resolve some conflict within ourselves or our marriage or our parents or our siblings, or even the past, So I was rooting for them all. I would say mostly I was rooting for them as a unit, like I wanted them to find each other again in the space.
Well,
so I would say the collective.
Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much, Heather. Great talking with you.
Likewise.
Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. And thanks for picking the book.
Of course. Okay, that was a great pick, Julie. And I do have to say, something that I really enjoyed about it is even though there were so many heavy topics, it really gave you a sense of hopefulness, overall hopefulness, which is, I think, what we're all looking for in our families. And of course, next month's book is a medical thriller, Gone Before Goodbye. There it is. Reese Witherspoon co-authored with Harlan, Coben, and our producer, Lisa, couldn't put it down. So it's going to be a good one.
So we've got her now legally blonde and legally an author.
Yes, there you go. And by the way, Julie, before we wrap things up, tell us about the event you have coming up.
Well, Literary Sips is everything I am about these days. And I'm going to be doing my first immersive event with Dillard's, where we're celebrating the launch of Literary Sips and the legacy of Chanel. I'm rushing things, November 19th. So I hope you can all come. And the information is right here for you.